Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I'm on lunch. Thought I would talk a little bit about a conversation that I had earlier today, and it wasn't too far off from some other conversations that I had with a few other of my customers. Now, for those of you who don't know, I work at a lumber yard. I do retail sales, and I have quite a few customers that I do like special orders for. I special order doors, windows, siding. Anytime somebody needs like a specialty item, I'm the guy that they come to try and track those things down. And I was talking with a few of my customers, some of the guys who do a lot of remodels and new construction, and they had something kind of interesting to say, because I was talking to them about the high prices, and I told them, like, hey man, these prices are off the charts. They're very expensive. You got to be very careful in your bidding. I said, but check this out. Look how plywood is all like the same price. Half-inch CDX or three-quarter AC, there's a $7 difference between the different types of plywood. Now, if you're not familiar with those, generally half-inch CDX would be like the lesser grade of construction type plywood, because there's finished grade plywoods, cabinet grade plywood, stuff like that. But when it comes to construction grade, there's generally two different types, CDX and ACX. ACX has a nice face to it. So when it comes to like half-inch CDX, a normal price would be around, say, $20. Well, right now it's at $39.95 a sheet. Three-quarter ACX, a typical price would be somewhere around, say, $35 to $40 a sheet. Well, we're selling it for $47 a sheet. So between half-inch CDX, the lesser, and the three-quarter AC, the thicker, higher grade, there's a $7 difference in between. So all the plywoods in between there is somewhere between $40 and $47. That spread would typically be somewhere around, say, 15 to 20. It's pretty interesting times. So I was talking to the customers about this, a lot of the contractors, saying, yeah, be careful on your bidding, on what you're bidding out there, because it's not like what it used to be. You could, a lot of guys, they just knew prices just by feel. Hey, plywood's about $20 a sheet, studs are about $3 a piece. You could kind of guess it that way. Well, now plywood's $40 a sheet and studs are $7.50. So something interesting has happened. They have told their customers, hey, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to bid out the material. I'm only going to bid out my labor. Because if this project takes place in 2 months, all that material may not be the price it is today. See, people who bid out material back in November when the prices were dropping got stuck with those prices when the bid came through, and now here they are trying to purchase that material, and it's much more expensive. I've told my customers I can only bid this out for the week, like basically the week I'm here. And anything beyond that, I'm going to have to redo the prices. I will pretty much only honor an estimate for about 5 days. Some of the other guys who are doing the bigger house packages and stuff, they cannot do that. They have to, honor it out a little bit further. But the prices move too much. And I'm just like, it's today's prices. That's the way it goes. It's unfortunate. And that's something that the builders, I don't think, have ever had to deal with before. Like, it's really hard to try and, for a customer to say, well, I understand your labor is going to be this much, but how much is the material going to cost? And you're like, I don't know. Today, it's this much. Last year, it was half that. Next year, we don't know. So there's no way of telling a customer, hey, it's just like, this is how much it's definitely going to cost you. And so when that leaves this question in mind about, like, well, how much is this job going to cost? A customer, somebody who wants to do a project starts getting a little leery. Like, maybe we need to hold off. They want, like, most people don't want to take a chance. They want a rock solid number. They want to know what it's going to be. They don't want to be second guessing anything or have, any surprises later on. So that's one of the things that I see happening. And so I got to thinking, and I was just like, well, if this carries on, this sort of attitude, people are going to hold back on their projects. And, really, there's no cure for high prices like higher prices. I mean, quite a few people had commented that in the comment section during the last lumber video, but that's true. There's no, cure for higher prices like higher prices. So people who may have been like questioning whether or not they want to do this project and saying, man, these prices are really high. The guy won't give me a solid number on what the material is going to be. I really don't plan on doing this for a couple of months. So maybe we'll see what happens in a couple of months. There's a problem with that. If you do not schedule today, in a couple of months, then you have to schedule then, and now you're going to be even farther out. And when you come into summertime trying to schedule something, you're having a very difficult time, and you may end up having to postpone your project till next year. So if you want to do your project this summer, you have to schedule today, now. You see where this dilemma is starting to come in? You know, I'm looking at the lumber prices, and I thought the lumber prices might start to come down yesterday, because we saw 2 days in a row where they were down from their peaks, which is still really high, and we had a major return. So it went from like 900 per thousand down to, I think it was down around under 850 per thousand, and now we're sitting back up at 883 per thousand. 883. This is like ungodly high. This is all-time high. I mean, it did hit 1,000 per thousand, but not for this long of a time period. I mean, we are now stuck up in these higher prices. And I tell you, $7.41 for a 2x4, 8 foot long, is just hard to even say it. It's even hard to say, man, that's how much I'm going to charge you. $40 a sheet for half-inch CDX. That is very difficult to try and say, hey, man, 2 sheets of plywood and 2 2x4s is going to cost you $100. You know, it doesn't make sense. Things that can't go on forever won't. And I'm just, I mean, every day I check this stuff. Every day I'm calling the vendors. Every day I'm trying to figure out where it is that these things are going, and it does not seem to have any relief in sight. The Western red cedar, and this is the thing. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this. Like Western red cedar, they think like, man, Pacific Northwest, that's where it all comes from. Yeah, but a big chunk of the Pacific Northwest is up in Canada, and a lot of the Western red cedar comes out of Canada. And between all the trade wars and tariffs and forest fires and bugs and everything else that goes with the curtailments and shutdowns, things are getting very difficult to come across. And when they have no other choice, when the project needs to be, like, if you're in the middle of a project right now, you can't stop. You can't say, well, like, man, these prices are high. Hey, let's postpone this till next year. No, you're done. You got it. You have no other choice. You have to go and buy that material, and you can shop all you want. It doesn't matter. If nobody has it, you're going to pay any price to get it, and that's what's happening. Anyways, that's probably enough for you guys. I should go back into work. Okay, one last thing. Wanted to tell you guys, thank you so much for checking out the uneducatedeconomist.com website. We are working tirelessly to try and get this thing done. You know, Chandler and I, we both have full-time jobs, and we're trying to fix work on this thing, and fix different little aspects of it, in our free time, in our in-between time. So thank you guys for being so patient. Thank you guys for those who are sending us tips and ideas for what we can do to make the channel work right and look better, in the website, I mean. And I really appreciate the, you guys reading some of the writings that I'm doing. I'm still practicing, trying to learn to put my thoughts into text. It's starting to flow a lot easier. I'm getting a lot better at it. And I tried to do something a little longer, and I found my thoughts are a little bit, scattered in it. But I'm trying, guys. I'm really trying here, because I really want to write that book. I really want to do that for you guys. And so, yeah. And what else can I say? Thank you guys for the PayPal tips, man. I really appreciate it. My family can't thank you enough. I use those PayPal tips to take my family out to eat, and we went and got the Chinese food. They really like the Chinese food, so we went and got a bunch of that the other night, and yeah, they were all real happy with that and bet each other our fortunes and stuff. It was a good time. So I cannot thank you guys enough for doing that for us, because that's what we do, with those tips that you guys send in, and I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. It's something that the family hasn't quite experienced that much of, especially a few years ago when I was really heavily in debt. I never took the family out, ever. So, okay. Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.